everybody? Jacob here from Learn With Me, and today I'm bringing you another rambling workshop. I want to apologize in advance because I'm a bit under the weather, been a little sick, but I'm doing what's necessary for me to get back to full health. Been drinking a lot of fluids, get a lot of rest. Luckily, I'm on a course right now, so work hasn't got me too overworked. Can take a little bit of a break, but I don't know. Thought about this concept earlier when I was driving back from the gym because I finally felt good enough to go to the gym. And I was thinking about this concept because I was going 35 and a 35. I usually follow the speed limit. I know this is kind of off topic, but you'll see what I'm getting at. So I was going 35 and a 35, and I looked behind me in my rear view mirror, just doing my little checks. There's somebody on my ass, all right? Right on my ass. And I got into my turn lane to get to my barracks, and I seen as soon as the light turned green where I was turning, and he went to keep going straight, he just took off, right? Now, a lot of you may be thinking, like, oh, you're being fucking ridiculous. A lot of people like to be fast in their cars and shit. I get it, but at the same time, I don't because I start thinking about the reality of most situations in this world. We don't have enough money to afford anything anymore, and I hate to imagine that this dude even had any insurance on his car because we can sit here, go back and forth, and make assumptions. And I just had this thought where I was like, what if this dude didn't have insurance on his car and he rear-ended me because I, you know, slowed down a little bit or something? You know what would happen? The dude would have been fucked. He would have been fucked. Okay? So, because the thing is, there would have been no way for them to say that it was my fault. The dude was riding on my ass. Who they gonna take? Whose word they gonna take? You know, the person who has a perfectly clean driving record with no accidents, no anything in like 10 years of driving, right? Or this dude who's probably like, let's say, let's be generous, maybe like 20 years old. Probably has been only driving for a few years. Probably already has some speeding tickets with how he was driving, and probably has been in a few accidents. Like, whose word are they going to take? So, this made me think about how most people perceive things and why I want to talk about a mindset. And that's why the concept is what the hell is a mindset? Moving on into the first slide. First, we're going into our intro slide. Number one is going to be the references. Two, why are we talking about mindsets? Three was the difference between a growth mindset and a consumer mindset or fixed mindset. Four, social media's effect on mindset. Short-term media access of information. So I don't have an elaborate, slideshow with a lot of fucking words or anything. It's just talking points, and I'll pull from each of these points into the different categories, and we'll just talk through them. The references are just for the people who are really like into the analysis of this type of shit. And the whole thing is like, sure, you can go through the references. I went through the references. However, the whole point of this channel is to keep things to the complete simplest, like the keep everything simple to where everybody can understand. There is no barrier of entry for any of the videos I make where you have to have some form of certification or education in order to understand what I'm talking about. So, go into references. So, references, we got Mindset, Shape, Consumer Behavior, authors Mary C. Murphy, Carol S. Dweck, 2016, The Metaverse, A New Digital Frontier for Consumer Behavior, Rhonda Heidi, Sherry Nelomad, Eric S. Park, 2023, and Zai Jin Eat Ah. Oh, goodness. The effect of short form media or short form video addiction on undergraduates' academic procrastination, a moderated meditation model, frontiers in psychology. December 2023. Only reason I bring up these references is like we're going to talk about concepts that these aren't really like foreign to anybody, especially with how popular all these things are at this point. And I don't think it's really breaking news for me to bring up these concepts, especially with how I perceive everything. So it's like you're gonna notice, like the first reference is about 10 years old, whatever, 2023, a few years, so it's still up to date and relevant. Okay, the first reference was talking about consumer behaviors, which talked about the fixed mindset and advertising behaviors of like marketing and everything and how they can market to different people, right? The metaverse was talking about essentially like what Facebook is doing, and just like the way we're going with the internet in general, where it's like this new plane of existence, where we're talking about digital currency, we're talking about digital people, digital ideas, digital this, digital that, and digital marketing. We're talking about these things that do not exist, but exist on the internet, which people are starting to put more value in. And then the effect of short form videos, it's, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, Snapchat Stories, it goes on and on. And again, like I'm always saying, we're not breaking any new ground with this, okay? Moving on. Oh, fancy. Okay, here we're going to talk about the growth and consumer mindset. Bring up my little fancy picture here. Ah, we got our meme, Where Banana, okay? So, why I picked this meme about growth and consumer mindset is growth mindset is usually made from a person who is thinking about something to get, something that is yet to be had, or like a goal that is to be reached. Consumer mindset is somebody who is constantly taking in something. Like I said, we're talking about simplest terms here. And the only reason I talk about these things is because, you know, you don't have to go very far off of like YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, anything without, or even, we didn't even go down with TV back in the day, like Dish, DirecTV, cable, where you turn on the TV and guess what? You're getting ads telling you you'll be better if you have this product. You'll be better if you have this product. If you're on YouTube, Aura will make you better. Manscaped is what you need to shave your balls. Timu gives you like the cheapest products for the highest quality. Dr. Squatch, freaking V Shred. Oh fuck V Shred. And it's like a never-ending paradigm of consumption. And that's why, if you have been watching this channel, I get it, there's not very many subscribers so far, not very many viewers so far. However, that is why, like me making free programs and having these discussions are so important because it is a free medium. It is all free where we can have discussions and talk about these things. I'm not going to charge you for my programs. Not yet, at least. I'll be honest about that. I eventually plan on charging for like maybe individual programs, like maybe like one-on-one coaching, but for programs, hell no. What I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to program and I'm going to teach you methods to work. I'm not going to overcomplicate things so you have to invest more into my medium so you can be successful. Because I notice this, because I've done it. I have years upon years of experience in, you know, fitness and lifting weights, powerlifting, buying programs and trying different programs, and eventually, I've been doing this for 13 years. And while I am strong, I would say that I am physically in pretty good shape and have decent genetics. I would say for me jumping from program to program, jumping into different programs and different sciences and different trains of methods of thought across bro science and all this and that, I have halted my progress tenfold because, Jim Windler was big, okay? Then Texas Method was big, then RPE was big, and then Juggernaut was big, and then it was the Candido's program. Then it was back to 531, and then it was then it was 5 by 5, and then it was Texas Method again. And now this is probably more my fault, right? It was more my fault because I wanted to jump from program to program to program, and I would get results, and then I'd hit a plateau, and then I'd stop, and it was like I would try to. Here's the basic concept. I was trying to get stronger without being a calorie surplus, and I never stayed consistent with the kind of program I was running. Okay. And now that I've built my own program that I enjoy to do, I've made a lot more results and progress than I've made in years. But every fitness YouTuber and coach on YouTube wants to make you believe that their program's the best because this program will get you this result. And guess what? Maybe you get bigger traps, bigger back. Oh, because you're doing more rowing and shrugging than your original program. But is your deadlift going up? Is your bench going up? Is your squat going up? Do you feel stronger? Are you stronger? No, you're just doing more reps and more hypertrophy for muscles that you usually don't do. So you compensate by buying this program, and then it's like you're like, well, I kind of get sick of this program. Now I need some sort of workout tracker, and then you're paying like $15 a month for some, you know, app on your phone to track your workouts, and then you get bored of that workout because it's not really that fun and there's no buy-in to it. So you switch to another program, and then you're back to square one where you have to do another week where you're doing, like a baseline test, and then you just never really get anywhere. Okay. And it's like the same thing with like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, where it's like they are so eager to convince you that you have to pay for everything, that you have to pay to get anywhere, okay? And if you buy my program that shows you my ways of getting to the top and this, that, and the other, dog, there is no program, there's no manual, there's no this that's going to lead you to success. And another thing that we're going to talk about is how, uh, one second. Okay, I'm back. So, what I was talking about, there's no magic pill, there's no shortcut. We've already talked about this in my previous videos. There's no shortcut to success. It's a sad, sad truth. Everything takes hard work. However, you can get whatever you need from hard work, dedication, and it's going to take investing. However, you're better off finding a mentor and that does not drain your pockets and can teach you what you need to know and building yourself up from that. Another thing about growth and consumer mindset is living above your means. Crazy, crazy, crazy that I talk about this a lot. So, we want the new cars, we want the best beds, we want the best equipment, we want the new and latest gyms, we want the new and latest products and everything. And it's like we look at our parents like they're stupid and high for, they bought like I don't know, one ply toilet paper for like 99 cents back in the fucking early 2000s. But it's like here we are buying fucking, you know, 15, 25 ply toilet paper, like fucking Charmin Ultra Soft, and it's costing us like $12 when in reality we're spending an additional like $1,000 and by the end of the year in this shit that we really don't need because we want to be bougie. And I know that's something that we don't want to talk about. It's like if you have the means and you have the money, then why not do it? Because it adds up. Okay? It adds up. Because I'm telling you, if you get paid, let's take like a grand for example. If you get paid a grand bi-weekly, and by the time it's we're coming up for the next pay period, you're only looking at maybe $100 or $50 left over in your checking account, and that goes for both pay periods where it's like, oh yeah, now this is gonna have $100 by the end of the month. Oh, that's cool. Then something is fucking wrong, dog. How are you spending $1,000 on what? Like, and let me clarify, okay? Where this is, when it gets real ridiculous, is when we're talking about active duty military, okay? Active duty enlisted military, which is what I am. And I know I sound like the freaking old man shaking his fist at the clouds and everything. However, the amount of dudes who refuse to go to the chow hall, who refuse to, you know, work out the gyms on base, and who refuse to do this or refuse to do that, and they're spending like an additional, like I said, G's, like bands by the end of the year for shit that they don't have to buy, that they don't have to spend. And when this is getting real bad, is the reason why I bring this up is because I was that fucking idiot. Okay, I was the idiot. I'm not sitting here on perched up on my fucking soapbox because I've had this figured out since I was a fucking junior enlisted. No, I wish I did. If I did, I would have like six figures saved up. If I would have just went to the chow hall, just saved my money, and just been patient, and just did what I was told to do. I know that's hard. That's like, however, if we're talking about a 4-year contract, if you're enlisted in the military, 4 years goes by pretty quickly. Okay? The rest of the time, you have to worry about yourself, possibly a family, possibly a wife, or a husband, or kids. And if not, you still have to take care of yourself. Okay? Because with this economy and this job market, nothing is really guaranteed unless you are really, 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 really high value and very you have skills and experience. Okay? So when I talk about this with the paycheck and spending money, I'm more talking about, you know, junior enlisted, enlisted in the military. And still, if we talk about like the grand every paycheck and still spending all of your money, it's like, yeah, maybe if you have a car payment that's like $500, $600, which is ridiculous. uh, really expensive insurance. It's like, yeah, maybe you can pay that off in one pay period, plus phone, internet, Spotify, YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, Disney, fucking utility, like all these things that just add up. Okay. Guess what? It's like shit that you can't really afford, but you just took it on because you're like, I want this new car. I didn't want to get that used car and have already own it, or just ride a bike. And like I said, I don't want to sit here sound like I'm shaking my fist at the cloud. However, this is the uncomfortable truth that I think most people need to hear and they need to face because I get it gets sickening and tired. I get sick and tired of going on the internet and hearing everybody spout their opinions about how, you know, like how our parents' generation and the generation prior to that had everything figured out and they could buy a fucking house for like an ice cream cone and everything. I mean, I get where that comes from. However, I remember growing up in my house. My family didn't live lavishly, and I so I don't know, and it's like I see a lot of people in this this time and place where they try to live outside of their means, and it's like crazy concept, like these brand new iPhones that we spend hundreds of dollars a month on. That if we would have just bought like the cheaper phone and we wouldn't owe a fucking like financing bill every month, and we were just paying for our service, we wouldn't be paying an additional $200 a month for like I don't know, like 24 months, 18 months. And you got to think about that, like back in their time and era, like what is something like an iPhone that they would have bought back then that guess what would have made them fucking broke? Maybe like a fucking computer or like a box phone or some shit back then. Probably because they weren't buying shit like that. Or maybe they did and it made them broke. I've noticed nowadays that reckless spending and just consuming things is like the new norm. So, moving on, next slide. Okay, I don't know when that paused, but what I was talking about was when you're when you're talking about spending this money and living above your means and you know not staying within a budget and you're like, well, I'm too prideful to like save up my money and to do this and that and the third. Are you going to tell your kids that the reason why the power is going out and that they're that they're going to have to take student loans out for college and that the house is getting foreclosed on because you didn't decide that you wanted to save up money instead of not going out to the bar and not getting that Chick-fil-A and not getting that fucking Subway and all that stupid shit when you already had bread and ham and mayonnaise in your fridge or whatever the hell that could have done the job just fine. Or even for my gym bros out there, like you didn't want to just, get some black coffee instead of paying like $50 on some pre-workout that you're going to run through within 2 weeks or this and that and this and that. It's like the tool song enema where it's like fret for your lattes, fret for your, it's like fret for everything that you want, but you're never going to face the real reason why you're living in these conditions. It is your behavior. Okay. And we're going to move on into the final subject, which is now y'all will probably recognize this lady. She's from Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, right? She's telling the aliens like, you know, show me everything, like show me all the knowledge, okay? And you're going to notice too much information. And what I'm meaning about too much information is I've had a lot of discussions with everybody to this point where we were talking about we have reached the point in our we've reached the point in like our time and our age that this may be controversial that college that college is kind of irrelevant. You know, don't crucify me, but I believe that college is irrelevant. Okay, everything that you can learn in college, like sure you may not get accredited by university, but you can get a head start on it. If you're not going to school, that you can learn the same concepts and still save money and still get a job and do all the same things. Okay, you can learn on the internet. There are free articles everywhere. There are free videos from Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and all these colleges, like Ivy League schools, in like Khan Academy. You got like different resources of like free training. Uh, that really there's no excuse for not being educated about anything and not being aware of much of anything anymore. And most of the time, though, when we use the internet, we're not using it to figure out our finances or to learn more life skills or, you know, make a make a name for ourselves. And I know that may seem a little ridiculous coming from me. However, tell me I'm wrong where you can't utilize this resource better in a means and better in a way where you can learn things about finance. You can find Dave Ramsey's website for free where it has all the budgeting and planning and compound interest calculators and all that shit. You know, if you don't know math, you got Khan Academy, you got YouTube videos, you got you got anything, everything. You got prep videos for standardized testing. You you got videos that teach you how to fucking fix cars and just about anything. Like no limit to your mind's desire. So we live in this day and age where instead of people actually learning things and taking advantage of it, they will still follow the same pattern and go to school and they'll pay out of their fucking ass, and then they'll take out student loans. And I don't want to piss anybody off, and may piss somebody off. I don't give a shit because I have student loans too. But nobody pointed a gun to your head and was like, "You need to get these fucking student loans." You could have got scholarships. You would have done better in school. You could have got academic scholarships. You could have got a sports scholarship. You could have got. You could have applied for scholarships on the internet. Anymore, there's no excuse. It's crazy. And I blame it because I blame it on the fact that everybody keeps it hidden and that we just want to ignore the obvious. And we want to make things more complicated than they really are. Really, there's not much more for me to add. This is just me talking and spitting shit. So, you know what? Take with this video what you will. I would think on these things a little bit and just ask yourself the questions on if you follow these exact concepts that we're talking about. Do you consume more than you than you earn? Do you have goals? Are you thinking about the future? Are you utilizing the internet? Are you scrounging for scraps? Think about it.